Hello friends, welcome to this year's first episode of Techie Tuesdays. I'm your host and coach S. Ravi Kumar. Techie Tuesdays is a weekly show where I answer to your tech and career related queries. So if you like my answers, then please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, family and colleagues. Now let's get started with today's questions. His first question is asked by Naveen Kumar Reddy. He's asking, why do most people say that a career in testing is a dead end? And is it correct? Naveen, this statement is partially correct. A career in testing is a dead end for manual testers basically, not for automation testing. With increase of machine learning, AI and automation, more and more companies are moving towards automation testing, and with the increase of agile development practices in the companies, more and more companies are now focusing on implementing unit testing in their development process. So they expect that their developers should follow TDD or test driven development approach, where they write unit test cases along with whatever they are developing. So whatever function or code they are developing, they should write unit test cases for that, so that those unit test cases do the first level of sanity testing of whatever code they have written. And then for the integration testing, for the functional testing and for rest of the testing left, they expect their testers to be automation testers who could do all these things with the help of tools like Selenium or other automation testing tools. Or maybe some companies even expect that testers should use robotic process automation or RPAs to do the automation testing. So because of this, the role of manual tester is decreasing day by day, and the role of automation testers is getting increased day by day. So now the role of manual testers are left only in small companies. In large companies, because of this automation practices being implemented, the more role is there of a automation tester. So if you are going to become a tester, my suggestion for you would be to go in automation testing instead of going in manual testing. However, the concepts of testing is same, that you have to check the whole functionality, but you have to do it with the help of automation script instead of doing it manually. Next question is from Harshavardhan Reddy. He's asking, which databases have a high scope in terms of employability? Harshvardhan, I'm assuming that you are a database expert and you are expecting to know about the popular databases being used in the industry for getting good job. So in my opinion, most popular databases are Oracle, MySQL, MariaDB and SQL Server. These are basically RDBMS databases or relational databases. So the most popular relational databases are Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MariaDB and then Postgres also. I missed to name it earlier. Postgres database also. So these are relational databases. When we talk about NoSQL databases or non-relational databases, mostly called as NoSQL databases, then the most popular ones are MongoDB, CouchDB. I think these are the two about which I know, and then Cosmos DB. Microsoft is pushing a lot Cosmos DB. So MongoDB and CouchDB are the most popular ones in case of NoSQL. Then Cosmos DB is also being pushed by Microsoft. Then after that, when we talk about relational database, there is MySQL, Oracle, both, like MySQL is now bought by Oracle. So Oracle and MySQL both are managed, serviced by Oracle guys. Then MariaDB is an open source and free database, just like MySQL. Basically MariaDB is a branch of MySQL. Then Postgres is also used by many companies. So Postgres DB and SQL Server. So wherever .NET technologies are being used, Microsoft is pushing SQL Server, and SQL Server is very popular database in terms of relational databases. Next question is from Kanika. She's asking, I am very good at Python and DBMS. I don't want to do a job in a firm as I want to be a freelancer. How can I start freelancing? Kanika, you can start freelancing by joining any of the popular freelancing sites like Upwork, Freelancer, Guru, TapChef, etc. However, after creating the profile there, in order to get a job, you need to showcase your work. You mentioned that you are very good in Python and DBMS, but people there on the site don't know that you are good in Python or DBMS. So you need to showcase your profile. For that, in my opinion, first of all, you need to create your GitHub profile. You need to contribute to some open source application. Probably you can write blogs also, and you can showcase, you can host some of your sample applications which you have created on any domain. Maybe you can get a domain like kanikaexamples.com, and then there you can showcase your Python applications, so that people should see that you have experience and you have worked in you are really good in Python and DBMS. Because basically any kind of job, be it freelance job or be it regular job like a firm job, also requires experience. So whenever somebody is hiring you for a job, they expect that you are experienced in that particular job. So first of all, create some sample applications in Python and DBMS, put them on GitHub or host them anywhere so that you can showcase them to your prospective customers. Then create profile on freelancing websites like Upwork, LinkedIn, TapChef, etc. and bid for the projects there. That's how you can start freelancing. Next question is asked by Ravi Teja. He's asking, which DevOps tools is suggested for .NET developers? Ravi, usually .NET developers or in general developers don't get into DevOps. For DevOps, there is a separate role of DevOps engineer or DevOps person, or generally it's called as DevOps engineer. So there is a separate role of DevOps engineer who basically use different type of DevOps tools like Jenkins, Chef, and other like automation tools which are used for automated deployments. However, as a .NET developer or as a full stack .NET developer, you can of course learn about Azure DevOps and GitHub Actions so that you can also be good in DevOps. Both of these are pretty easy to learn, and I might be talking about them, or I might be creating some videos about how to use Azure DevOps. I have already created a Azure DevOps introduction video in Hindi, which you can see on my channel. And apart from that, when I'm doing live streaming, I might be creating videos on how to create CI/CD pipeline using Azure DevOps GUI. So you can learn from there, or you can do a simple Google search about how to set up CI/CD pipeline on Azure DevOps. And you can get many articles about that. So as a .NET developers, just the introduction about DevOps is good for you. You don't need to learn all the tools. And if you just want to know about the tools, then the simplest tool for you to learn would be Azure DevOps and GitHub Actions. Question is from Raj Purohit Dikshit. He's asking, how do you increase your productivity as a remote developer? Raj Purohit, you can increase your productivity as a remote developer by following a disciplined approach. You might have seen or read this in many popular articles related to working from home, that you have to follow a disciplined approach while working from home. The same thing applies for productivity also. That is, number one, you have to set up a schedule. Share that schedule with your team. So number one, set up your schedule, which is a time in which you are working. So set up a schedule, like when you are working in office, you have a schedule that you reach to office by 9 o'clock and you work there by 6 o'clock, and in between you take your breaks and all those things. So the same way while working remotely or while working from home also, create a schedule and share that schedule with your team members, so that you have like whatever discussion you have to do, they keep it in that schedule itself, and you get your time for your breaks and all those things. That is number one. So make your schedule. Number two, learn to say no. So if you think that something which is not your responsibility or not your job, then don't say yes to that. So it will of course take a lot of time if you don't know something and you say yes to it. So you either incorporate that in your schedule or say no to that task. So say no to the tasks which are not related to you. Number three, use focus driven tools. Like you can use Pomodoro technique, which is just a normal technique where you set a timer for 25 minutes and then after 25 minutes take a break. So you can do focused work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break, then again do focused work for 25 minutes, then take 5-minute break, and after 4 breaks you can take a 15 to 20 or 30 minutes of break. So you can follow that technique also. Then the same technique you can increase for your purpose. Like in my case, I use Pomodoro technique, but I increase that time period. Instead of 25 minutes, I use 45-minute timer. So after 45 minutes, I take a 10-minute break. So basically, because when you are developing or when you are writing code, you are in a zone, and just taking a break like 25 minutes is the time in which you get into a zone. So usually I take a break after 45 minutes, but it depends on you, what you are doing, what kind of work you are doing. So if you are reading or if you are learning something, then the Pomodoro technique is best. That is 25 minutes of focus work and 5-minute break. But if you are coding, then I think my opinion is that 45 minutes and 5 minutes is the way to go. So you choose your way, but follow this technique, Pomodoro technique, or any kind of time blocking technique, so that you can do some focused work. And yes, the most important one, switch off the notifications. Set up when you are making the schedule, set up a time for watching your notification, be it email notification or be it SMS notification or whatever, WhatsApp notification, any kind of notification. Set up a schedule time for that. Let's say if you want to see the email, set up a schedule time that okay, afternoon lunchtime I will see my email, or I will see my emails in the evening, or I will see my emails in the first thing, like while starting my day I'll see my email to check what is important. So set switch off all your notifications and schedule time for seeing your notifications so that you don't miss out anything. Some people will also suggest you to create to-do list, daily to-do list based on your tasks which are being assigned to you. So you can use any to-do list, whether you can use the online to-do list or you can create the to-do list on the paper. My way of doing is I create to-do list on the paper. I have a diary where I create my daily to-do list and I tick off the task from there. So it depends on you how you create or where you create your to-do list. So another option is also to create the to-do list. So in a nutshell, to increase your productivity, create your schedule, switch off notification, use a technique, use the disciplined approach, and create to-do lists. So these were my answers to your tech and career related queries in this episode of Techie Tuesdays. If you want your questions to be featured in next episode of Techie Tuesdays, you can DM me your questions with hashtag Techie Tuesdays on any social media platform. All my social media handles are Techie Rathor. I hope you like my answers, and if you like my answers, then please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends, family and colleagues. So until my next video, take care. Bye bye.